Death's Door borrows the gameplay concept from traditional isometric ARPGs, but with a bit of Souls-like flavor. Just like sensational Hades or the Curse of the Dead Gods that came up earlier this year. Also, there are exploration elements and puzzle solving borrowed from Zelda-like projects. But there is a lot of this kind of games on the market, so what makes Death's Door so remarkable? This small indie project are praised by many players. The simplicity and sharpness of its gameplay hyped the entire community. Today we will try to dig deep into its game design to find out how developers from Acid Nerve and publishers from Devolver Digital managed to achieve such success. We will start with the combat system. For all its simplicity, several original design solutions have been applied here to achieve highest level of character control and almost perfect feedback. Movements, attacks, rolls and magic, those basic mechanics are designed to be as responsive as possible. There are no animation delays, except that magical abilities that you need to charge. All actions are lightning fast. And if you use controller instead of mouse and keyboard, targeting aiming assist helps you behind the lines of code, so it corrects minor direction deviations. In order for such simple combat system to flourish in full force, it needs following game systems and design elements to complement each other. A variety of enemies and bosses with unique movesets, perfectly readable hitboxes and animations, precise, high-paced gameplay with different enemy setups, and finally, the architecture of the arenas where the battles takes place. Also, it would be nice to support feedback system with the visual and sound effects. So now we can define how and when various elements of game design should interact. Let's take a look at our enemies. Not to say that bosses or ordinary mobs are difficult, but often with a significant contribution of level design, player meets a serious challenge, so these encounters become magnificent and memorable. Due to interaction of these systems, developers can adjust the difficulty curve of the game without changing the enemy roster or a particular biome. This synergy provides a huge creative potential. Next, the wide arsenal of enemy abilities that we should counter, so all the hundreds of combat encounters that we face will be entertaining. Same for the bosses, that are really epic and challenging. But to be fair, some of the mechanics borrowed from a previous project of the studio. This will be relevant for those who are familiar with the Titan Souls. But that not the crucial point. The thing is that there is a lot of high quality content in this game, even by modern standards. Just take a look at the animations. Our character is cute low poly crow, so the animations of strikes, rolls and game objects interactions are thoroughly made and harmoniously implemented. But the main goal of all animation systems is to provide the player with the feedback enhanced by visual and sound effects. To do so, various synchronized visual effects working in parallel with the animations were implemented. Let's look at the simple strike. At the moment when our weapon hits the target, we observe independent direct line and concentric visual effect exact at the point of impact. Next, the white flicker of enemy model, blood spray and the drops. And finally, staggering enemy model animation accompanied by whiplash sound effect. Actually, all this looks familiar. We have already seen similar set of visual effects in Hollow Knight. And although Acid Nerve mentioned other references, for me personally it is Hollow Knight that evokes similar exploration emotions and challenging experiences. We will discuss this connection further though. In the meantime, let's take a look at the hitboxes. Our horizontal strike visualized by the arc-farmed bright colored effect. The animation additionally highlighted by bold contour outline. This provides clear feeling of hitboxes. But when it comes to enemies, especially some small ones, their hitboxes feels a bit larger than the model itself. It is almost imperceptible, so it's not a big deal. To sum up the combat system discussion, we will try to find out how exactly various game mechanics and enemy setups interacts with the level design. Note that almost all combat arenas in the game affect the gameplay in certain way. Here, size, architecture, interactive objects or hazards make each encounter unique. Yes, the rule of thumb in game design obliges the developer to provide a small tutorial at the beginning of new biome or a level, so the player can learn to confront the new enemies and deal with the mechanics. But after, the level design manifests influence in all its glory. And I don't know how the process of designing arenas was built in Iced Nerve, but as a mandatory condition, I accepted that arenas should use verticality as much as possible to provide player with positioning puzzles, as well as wide usage of hazards and other game objects can significantly enhance the experience. The very same approach to level design we can observe at the macro level, as it is one of the most important elements of the game for quenching the exploration thirst. There is no map in the game, levels are intricate mazes, and together with a large number of hidden passages, they provide the player with the widest opportunities for exploration. The scale of the locations and the variety of biomes makes this process even more exciting. Along with the traditional elements like secret passages behind destructible walls or grapple hook jump-in sections, I noted at least two original solutions. First is the plunge attack destructible hatches that open underground tunnels. To be honest, I discovered this mechanic at the very end of my journey, and this served as a reason for a few hours of backtracking gameplay, but it was fun. The second element is even more fascinating as it has great design potential. It is a camera that rotates, changing the perspective in certain areas of the level. Yes, it is obviously scripted behavior, but it activates the new level of exploring anticipation and strengthens the delight of fighting such areas. Plus, aesthetically, this looks just great. Technically, the entire architecture of the levels was designed in the Pro Builder tool in Unity. It allowed devs to effectively manage surface colliders, joint interactions, reduce the clipping issues, and get the grey box level prototype faster. Even in the final version of the game build, all the level surfaces remain imported Pro Builder objects. So after the technical prototype finalized, it is time for adding decorations, textures, and other visual elements. So for us, it's time to talk about the visual component of this project. I personally tired of the myriad of low-poly games, but this in particular looks outstanding, and there is an objective explanation for that. Although the main theme of the project is the inevitability of death, it is served in a bright and a humorous manner. There are a lot of funny references in the game, and low-poly style here only emphasize the rectitude and easiness of such tough theme. And the question here, is it worth worrying about death at all? It is inevitable, so live and enjoy every moment. Yes, it is simple and trivial, but sometimes we forget about it. The world of Death Door filled with cute and bizarre characters. And let's be honest, model creation process in low poly is one of the least time demanding in 3D modeling. Yes, there are many nuances here, but in general it allows small indie teams to create nice looking game worlds. Now we step aside to discuss the publisher role, since Devolver Digital certainly contributed to this project. For instance, to art direction if you look at the credits. But unfortunately, in all cases, all the praise goes to the developers themselves, and professionals that contributed on publisher side can only be mentioned as advisors. It may be for the best. Either way, we will never know what was the real impact of the publisher's team on this project. Details often hidden by NDA. And it's kinda sad. But this all necessary measures. And now I'm going to switch to the brighter element of this project, the lighting. Here devs managed to solve complex tasks with a minimal effort spent. Only one global light source in each scene. Some game objects have local lighting source, but they do not affect shadow processing. All lighting features are centered around the character actions and accompanied by detailed visual effects. Just look at the bomb explosion. Here you will notice painstaking work with the shaders and great attention to details. Bravo! And finally, just listen to this music. The themes correspond to the atmosphere of each biome and game scene. Intense boss fight themes are followed by calm fragments. And there are also unique gems here. A very short melody, literally less than a minute long, took my heart completely. Simple, but at the same time very deep and touching. For me personally, this project has a connection with the wonderful Hollow Knight world. The same intense, lonely, but amusing adventure of a cute creature in a world full of dangers and hidden secrets. I am very glad that the guys from Acid Nerve have made a successful project that certainly deserves attention as one of the brightest indie games of this year. And it was extremely fun journey for me to plunge into the details of its game design. I hope you enjoyed it also. Thank you guys very much for watching, and if you liked this video, you know what to do. I'll see you soon. Bye.